Ni hao, everybody. I'm Mike Levy. This is a very hot and muggy Taiwan behind me, and we're here for the Taipei Cycle Show. Now, this is always one of the most interesting shows of the year, so I want you guys to come along with me. Let's go. So the first booth that we're going to go to is called Tor, and they're doing stems and handlebars, which may not sound all that exciting, but they're doing some pretty interesting things. Let's go have a look. So, stems, not all that interesting usually, but Tor has got something a little bit different. They're using something they call the constrictor system, and I'm going to pull the stem off here and have a look. And what it is a wedge system inside the stem that applies much more even force. Think of it as a squeezing sensation around the steer tube instead of a pinching sensation. So you can see this wedge system here and the single bolt that runs through. So instead of two bolts, there's a single bolt. Now, there have been stems that have used wedges before. The difference here, they say, is that this wedge applies a much more even force. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna get one in, we'll put it on a bike and have a better look. So there are two different options, the TR and the XR. The TR is more of the trail version, and that has 4 bolts on the front, and that comes in at 138 grams for the 38 millimeter and 170 grams for the 50 millimeter. Now, the stems also go for 85 bucks, which is pretty reasonable. Now, the other version is the XR. That's a little more XC orientated, hence the name. Now, that comes in at 130 grams and 165 grams, and it retails for the same price. Let's go have a look at the pedals, because those are also interesting. Next up is the TR pedal. Now this again, it's a lightweight, thin pedal, very different shape, but they're also doing something a little bit different here. It's bushings inside, inboard and outboard, so no bearings, but it spins pretty darn smooth. Now, when you have a pedal and your bushing wears out, how often do you change that bushing? If you're like me, it's probably never, and you probably throw those pedals away. So these, the bushings are relatively inexpensive, and they can be easily replaced by hand without any special tools. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Check this out. So we have this here demo thing. We're gonna show you how it works. We're gonna pretend this is the pedal, and I'm gonna pull the axle out, just like so. And now these are self-extracting split bushings, and you can just pull them apart with your fingers. Now obviously they're held together when they're in the pedal, and they just pop together like that. And there's also a bushing on the outboard end. It's a split 2-piece bushing. Tor is going to sell these separately, and they're going to be very inexpensive. So when all of this stuff becomes available in 5 or 6 months, the pedals are going to retail for 140 bucks, and they're going to weigh 330 grams. Now Tor is also doing wheel sets, rims, aluminum and carbon. They're doing hubs, tools, axles, seat posts, and a bunch of other stuff. So they're probably worth checking out. They're doing a few interesting things that are different from the normal stuff, and that's refreshing to see. So next up is some interesting tire insert. Now, we've all seen foam tire inserts. This is not your Kritschkor, and it's not your Huck Norris. Let's have a look. So you've all seen foam inserts before, but this is a little different. This one is a multi-piece foam insert that replaces the air that you would usually put in your tire. Now, the idea here is that it split this up into different jobs. You have this blue foam on the outside doing one job, the white stuff in the middle doing another, and the gray stuff on the inside doing another job. Now the blue foam is a lot softer than you might think. Now I can push on it like this and you can see it springs right back. Now this is actually called ETPU foam, and the idea here is to mimic that pneumatic tire feeling by mimicking the energy that a normal air-filled tire would return. So this stuff, if I push like this, you can see it bounces right back. Now this gray stuff on the bottom, now that's EPP foam, and that's a lot different. It looks like something you would find in your helmet, but it's not. This is what you would find inside of some car bumpers that are meant to absorb energy, and it's what air foam uses for their foundation and for their base, and it's how they make pressure changes. So by changing this, you can change the feel of the tire from 22 PSI to 25 PSI. So this is a 29 by 2.8, so it's for a fairly high volume tire, and they're saying that this weighs about 550 grams, which is around 100 to 150 grams more than a tube. They're selling it for $125. That gets you 2, which is enough to do a whole bike. So what do you think? We've seen solid tire inserts before, but nothing quite like this. This is meant for definitely a little more high performance use. Do you guys think that this makes sense? Let us know in the comments. Ah, beep beep. Chain rings. What about carbon fiber chain rings? Let's have a look. So this is from a company called Digiret, and it is a one-piece carbon fiber chainring, compression molded, and now even the teeth are carbon fiber. Now how do they do that? Now it's a very secretive, they're not telling me, metal powder coating over the narrow wide chainring teeth, and they say that it will last at least as long as an aluminum chainring. Guess how much lighter this is? 25%. Now that's gonna cost you some money though. This goes for about 150 bucks, one chainring. Now this particular one has SRAM mounting, but they do other options as well too. So it fits a number of cranks, it comes in a number of sizes, it's very light, and it looks very cool. What else can we find here at this show? Oh, beep beep. Ni hao. Next up, we're going to the Jaguar booth, because we're gonna look at the new Revere Brakes. We're gonna park my sweet ride right there. So the first brake we're gonna look at is the Attack. Now this is their Dior level brake. It retails for 95 bucks. It uses mineral oil and 22 millimeter pistons. Now that's a standard piston size, but if you look closely, well actually you don't even have to look all that closely, you see this big orange thing here. That is a heat sink. So the other brake that we're gonna look at is the Arc. And this is a lighter brake with larger pistons, more power. So less weight, more power. This one is the e-bike version. That's what this cord is here, but they also do a standard mountain bike version, and it weighs about 15 to 20 grams less than the Attack brake, and it uses 24 millimeter pistons. So again, more power, less weight, and retails for $105 without a rotor. Now Revere is saying that this is meant to compete against an XT level brake, so fairly high-end stuff. Now for adjustments, there's a reach adjustment in here. That requires a tool. It saves weight, but does require a tool. No bite point adjustment on here. So a fairly simple brake, a fairly light brake, and it looks like a fairly sturdy brake. Now if we turn it around, you can see the same heat sink on the back too. Now that is meant obviously to have the brakes dissipate heat better, makes them last longer, more consistent feel. Now I know you guys have all been wondering what the hell I've been riding around on. Let's take a closer look at that for our last product. This is an Astral electric bike. Now before you lose your shit, this thing is really neat. It's powered by a drill battery, it's got 12-inch wheels, 2 speeds, and it's really, really fun to get around in the show. It's clearly made for children. I am clearly still a child. It's perfect. So that's it for our first day at the show. Go to Pinkbike to see more coverage from the Taipei Cycle Show. For now, I'm gonna take my new bicycle and hit the road. See you guys later. Beep beep.